Welcome, Longfellow students and parents. It's time for Level Up with Mr. Kitzero.
Welcome back, Longfellow Scholars. We've wrapped up our first round of parent-teacher conferences. We're halfway through October. Our virtual school year is going really fast. But we want to pause for a minute, and we want to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day this week. Indigenous Peoples Day is a holiday that celebrates and honors Native American peoples and commemorates their histories and cultures. This celebration leads us into this week's edition of Longfellow Level Up's Student Challenge. The first Longfellow or CRVA scholar to email me the correct answer in complete sentences will win a Longfellow hooded sweatshirt. This week's challenge is based off two questions. Question number 1. In the state of Wisconsin, we have begun to observe Indigenous Peoples Day instead of what outdated holiday? Number 2. Why is the shift to recognizing and celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day so important? Your answers cannot be copied and pasted from the internet. Please write all answers in complete sentences and email them to me in your own words. Again, the first scholar to complete this task will win a Longfellow hooded sweatshirt. I've enjoyed hearing many of your survey responses so far. Let's dive into more student survey responses right away. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about Longfellow teachers. I've really enjoyed learning more about Longfellow scholars. The first question in our third survey was, what is something about you that Longfellow doesn't know yet? Parker from VenturePod said, Longfellow may not know that he plays hockey. We heard many students respond about gymnastics, hockey, golf, football. Even though we don't have school sports going on right now, it's really important that you engage in these healthy activities in a safe way. They're really important at this time. Trinity from EndeavorPod said, I speak almost fluent Italian. Laura from RiverPod said, I have 6 toes. I'm not saying I don't believe you 8th graders, but I'm going to need some proof. Haley from CRVA said, I am moving to Florida. But Haley, why would you want to do that? 6 months of Wisconsin winter will be here soon. You're really going to miss out. Elizabeth from CRVA said, something that Longfellow Middle School doesn't know yet is that I love playing piano. Now everyone does know, and you sound great, Elizabeth. Oliver from UnityPod said, I wish Pokemon were real.
Pokemon aren't real? A couple of years ago, I saw a whole bunch of people looking for them all over the place.
Chloe from CooleyPod said, I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club, and my favorite staff member is now a Longfellow teacher. The next question Longfellow scholars answered was, how does your learning at home self compare to your learning at school self? What are you noticing? Most of Longfellow students who answered this survey talked about distractions. About half of our students say they are more distracted at home. It can be more difficult to focus. The other half of students said school is more distracting. It's harder to focus around their peers. It is remarkable how everyone experiences the challenges of school differently, whether in person or at home. Keeping your workspace organized and tidy, organizing your iPad, using alarms to remind you of class times, making a to-do list, making good use of breaks in learning to re-energize, all these things will help and shows it is a big task. It is quite the challenge. When we return to person in school, the distractions and challenges will change a little, but you're stronger than you might think. Recognizing what takes away from your focus and then doing your best to overcome it will really help. Another question on our last student survey discussed Zoom class and whether you keep your camera on, off, and why. About 89% of our students said that they keep their camera on at least some of the time or once in a while. A large portion of those students say they keep their camera on always. 10% of our student population said they never turn their camera on. When asked why they keep their cameras off, many students answered, I'd keep my camera on if everyone else did. I don't like how I look in the morning. I don't want to have to worry about people looking at me. These are all reasonable answers. Hopefully everyone becomes comfortable keeping their cameras on and the bandwidth of their internet at home allows them to keep their cameras on. But if not, it is super important to show your teachers that you're still engaged. Regularly use the chat box and make sure you respond to teachers to show you are there, even if your cameras are not on. We are very proud of everyone learning to use Zoom, including our parents for parent-teacher conferences. In the second edition of Longfellow Up, I challenged all students to download the app My Life from self-service. Congratulations to Aaron Finn, who was the first person to download My Life and send me a screenshot. Aaron has won 2 free meals at a local restaurant. I'll send those gift certificates to you in the mail this week. My Life is still available in self-service if you have not already downloaded it. This app really focuses in on mental health. I was thinking about this app and realized we have a lot of great people at Longfellow to help us learn about mental health. Let's check in first with Mr. Lee, our health teacher. Joining us right now is Mr. Lee, Longfellow's health teacher. Mr. Lee, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Mr. Kistro, thank you for having me.
Mr. Lee, as our health teacher, I have to imagine you really value mental health. Would I be correct in assuming that?
Yes, yeah, mental health is so important right now, especially because of virtual learning.
So, Mr. Lee, can you tell for students, for families, what really is mental health?
Yeah, so to help understand mental health a little bit more, it's one important part of our entire overall health. And it's the health of our body that we can't see or that we typically don't see. It involves 3 things. So first is our emotions, so how we're feeling, if we're stressed, relaxed, happy. Secondly is our mind, and if it's functioning properly, and if we can think and process information. And then lastly, mental health also includes our social well-being, all right? And that's the health of our relationships with others and our interactions we have with others.
Thank you for that. So, those 3 things, we're talking about our emotions, we're talking about our mind, we're talking about our social well-being. Why is mental health so important then?
Oh, yeah. So mental health is so important because it determines how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and it determines how we make our decisions. So for example, like mental health is extremely important right now because it can determine if we make it to our Zoom classes on time. It can determine if we complete our schoolwork. And it determines if we can still have our healthy relationships with our friends, even though we're not in school face-to-face right now.
Thank you. Last question, Mr. Lee. How can students promote positive mental health?
Yeah, I think the first thing is you have to take care of yourself and your needs. So take those short breaks in between class and walk around. So one example is at school, I put my mask on and I use the excuse of going to check my mailbox so I can walk down to the office. Little did we know, mails have been delivered to our classroom already. Secondly, help your teachers by creating a safe and positive environment. And you can do that by just doing your part and treating others how you want to be treated. And then the last thing is probably the most important part is turn your electronics off. And that includes your phone for 60 minutes every day and do something active or go outdoors.
It sounds like our body and mind and that health is really connected and really relies on each other.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mr. Lee, really appreciate you being with us here today and talk about the really important topic of mental health. And just, we'll have to encourage our students to continue to seek out positive ways to support, like you said, emotions, mind, and their social well-being. It's so important during this time, especially as we're going through a pandemic.
Yep. Thank you for having me, Mr. Kitzer. I mean, this is such an important topic, and it's one that we should really be talking about. So thank you so much for having me and letting me share a little bit about mental health.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
I thought it might be interesting to hear from some Longfellow teachers and what they do to promote positive mental health.
Hello, Longfellow students. This is Mrs. Ferkingstad, 7th grade teacher at Longfellow. To support my mental health, I say 5 things I'm thankful for every day.
Hi Longfellow students, this is Ms. Zaya, 6th and 7th grade teacher. To support my mental health, I say positive affirmations. For example, I am kind, I'm a great teacher, I'm a great friend, I'm a hard worker. These things help me to stay positive and confident.
Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Hine from Longfellow, 8th grade. What I like to do to support my mental health is get outside with my family. Say hi.
Hi.
Hey.
As you can see, our staff also believe in the value of positive mental health. There are things you can do every day to promote mental health for you as a teenager. Number 1, stay active. 2, find things you enjoy doing every day. 3, be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Your positivity is contagious, and oftentimes we feel better about ourselves when we treat others well. Get a good night's sleep each night and work on routines. Stay in touch with others. Conversations with friends, family, school counselors, or teachers can help solve a lot of problems. It is okay to feel frustrated, angry, annoyed, anxious, sad, or many other tough feelings. These feelings may seem even more frequent or more intense during our COVID-19 times. If you are feeling especially anxious or really low lately, please reach out to an adult right away. Talk to someone at home or reach out to a school counselor. Remember, there are a few things that are more important than your education, but your mental health probably is one of them. The better you take care of your mind, the better school will go for you. You got this, Longfellow Scholars.